and good afternoon. Thank you very much for staying on to this with us, to this session. We have heard a lot of very important factoids and talking points today, and it's time for us to get a bit of a reality check from 4 practitioners in the tourism industry. So it's a tremendous honor to be here. 2025, we saw 1.52 billion international arrivals, a record growth of 4%, and 2026, by all reckoning, it was supposed to be a projection of another 3 to 4% growth. But that was before, of course, geopolitics and that war that is going on in the Middle East. So where do we go from here? We heard earlier on from Mr. Noor Ahmad that there are a few important points that are buffeting the global tourism industry. Geopolitics, a challenge of climate change, and how AI is upending the way our daily lives, and how that is upending traveling as well. So to kick us off, I guess I would like to invite the 4 of you to tell us what is really top of your mind when you are thinking and planning and plotting your growth for the year. Can we maybe start with Régine? First of all, actually, by the way, congratulations, your 70th anniversary, one of the founding members of, I guess, PATA. What a tremendous achievement. What is top of your mind when you talk about tourism?
Thank you so much, Eugene. It really is such a pleasure to be here this afternoon. And I just want to take a moment to thank PATA for convening all of us. Let's give PATA a round of applause. Great, we're awake this afternoon. Thank you. So yeah, very grateful to be here. And I think top of mind for me and the Guam Visitors Bureau is just thinking about what you mentioned, the exceptional growth that we've really seen over the past few months. We saw double-digit increases in our arrivals across many of our main markets. And then, as you know, ebbs and flows with geopolitics and a number of different issues. Over the past few weeks, we've also been grappling with rebuilding kind of our tourism following Super Typhoon Sinlaku. It was the largest typhoon across the world so far in 2026. And so 185 miles an hour and just, really wreaked havoc over the Northern Mariana Islands and many of our neighbors. So just trying to kind of come out of that and rebuild and let the world know that we are open for business. But also kind of thinking about how we move forward, how we become more resilient, more sustainable, more regenerative, and really try to create opportunities for more public and private collaboration to really fuel that resilience and keep us stronger in the weeks and months and years ahead.
Wrenelle, what is top of your mind?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, for me too, it's a really amazing pleasure to be here and to be sharing a bit more about the Western Cape at this PATA Summit. I thought that before I start talking about what's on my mind, it might be good just to share a little bit about the Western Cape and where it is. So Wesgro is the tourism, trade and promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape. And we basically are a public entity with a private sector board. And the Western Cape, of course, is the southernmost tip of Africa. And it is the place also where Nelson Mandela, I'm sure all of you know, it's a very good point to connect. And he was actually in prison in Robben Island. But we also have the beautiful Table Mountain and, fantastic food. What's on my mind is, you echoed the fact that there was really fantastic growth. And certainly in the Western Cape, we have seen a full recovery and we also recording good growth. But it's the structure of the current environment that I think is top of my mind. So it's all of the stuff that we spoke a bit about earlier. It's about the fact that demand is concentrated in one place. an over-reliance on one market, seasonality, the communities that are not necessarily involved in the main booking and distribution networks. And I suppose the fact that our economy is very reliant on the tourism jobs. So growth is very important to us. So, you know, particularly when you look at growth and value, I think we have to grow in a way which is more sustainable and which ensures resilience. And I think for me, that is probably, you know, what's top of mind.
So dispersion and diversification from the main tourist spots.
Diversification, yes, but I think also moving beyond marketing. So I think that there's a lot of work that has to also be done to ensure that there's alignment across all the different entities that are involved in the provision of tourism services.
Right. Insook, is diversification also a priority for the Korea Tourism Organization? The fact that we are having our conference in the city of Gyeongju instead of Seoul.
Yes, the diversification is also kind of big issues in Korean tourism industry. So if I explain to you a little bit about our Korea situation, since the transition to the endemic phase, Korea has seen a surge in the inbound tourism. So we reached the all-time high international arrivals last year. So that is about 18.9 million. Our all-time high record was in 2019, which was 17.5 million. But last year, we surpassed that number, and we reached 18.9 million. So this is great news for us, but we see that there is some disparity remains in this number. We see that 80% of our inbound visitors, they are visiting the Seoul only. So only the 20% are visiting the regional areas. So we think that this is leading to some imbalanced growth between the capital city and the regional cities. So we really worry that this will limit long-term sustainability of the tourism industry of Korea. So as a Korean government, we are trying to bridge this gap. We're working on many means to narrow this imbalance growth. Yeah, that's the current situation.
Thank you. Florian, welcome. What is your key message and what is top of your mind?
A wonderful good afternoon from Azerbaijan. Thank you very much to our Korean hosts, and thank you to PATA for an amazing organization of this 2026 summit. Azerbaijan is on the very western end of Asian Pacific region, also the PATA territory. Azerbaijan connects the west and the east and is an important connectivity tissue. Talking about many crises, talking about resilience, what is really top of mind is, in my opinion, DMOs as Azerbaijan Tourism Board, we are shifting from destination marketing to destination managers, managing stakeholders in the region, managing locals, interconnectivity between locals, businesses, other government entities, private sector, public sector, and our global markets. And this is really key. So arrival numbers is vanity metrics. It's about the accountability of to outcomes and not outputs. But I think we're going to discuss more about that.
Sure. So from what you have just said, I heard getting out the message that you are back in business. You are talking about public-private engagement and collaborations. You're talking about diversification as well, diversification away from Seoul, where 80% of tourist arrivals seem to be concentrated to make the tourism industry more sustainable. You're also talking about management of tourism resources. So all of these seem to point to a role for the public sector, or more specifically, government role. So I want to quickly just explore from your perspectives, what role can the government play in your specific sectors to deliver solutions to your problems? Let's reverse and start with Florian.
Thank you, ladies. 3 points: cross-sectorial integration, government policy framework, make everyone the minister of tourism, no matter if he's or she's responsible for transportation, social, education, whatever. Everyone should be a minister of education. It's about data and technology. We have to know who we're targeting, who we're talking, what is the real issues in the destination, what we are aiming for. And last not least, it's what I mentioned before, is the accountability to outcomes, meaning we are talking about what tourism really contributes to GDP, how many jobs do we create, how many new businesses do we create, how many marginalized areas in the regions do we develop, how many people we outreach in terms of integrating them, education into the tourism sector, and many other things. So really about accountability, and I think in these 3 dimensions is where at least we put our focus.
Thank you. Insook?
Yeah, in terms of the government role, I think the government should focus on laying the foundation for the long-term growth while promptly removing the regulations and the obstacles. So if I share the case of Korea, earlier this year in February, our president of Korea called for sweeping overhaul of the Korean tourism industry while presiding over the expanded national tourism strategy meeting. So this pan-governmental meeting had typically been chaired by the prime minister. However, reflecting the growing economic significance of tourism sector, the meeting has been elevated to be presided over by the president starting this year. So during the meeting, in order to translate the K-culture momentum into the tourism growth, the ambitious goal of attracting 30 million inbound visitors by 2030 or earlier has been set. So to achieve this goal, the Korean government has rolled out the 2-pillar strategy. The first is expanding the inbound demand, and the second is to revitalize the regional tourism across Korea. And this strategy is reinforced by the comprehensive reforms to the immigration procedures, regional airports, lodging infrastructures, and development of the high-value added tourism contents.
Régine, what role can the government play?
Yeah, so I think that it's government and business. And I think that certainly, we're trying to achieve 3 things. And if government could help us with that. So the first is to reshape demand. So of course we want to diversify our markets but an and. So we want to add new markets. The second area obviously is that we would want to transform our supply network. So it's about really expanding the carrying capacity of the market. It's about increasing connectivity. And, right now in South Africa, the Department of Transport, they want to protect the national carrier. The department, and we want obviously to liberalize our bilateral service agreements. So you've got 2 departments that are not necessarily talking the same language. So it's about really also making sure that there's alignment across the different government departments. And then I think a very important part, if you want to achieve regional spread, then you have to have a mobility system that supports that. So I think, those are some of the things that I think that government should do. And then I suppose a third area is about building enabling capabilities. So there I would like to comment on regulatory reform. Every country at the moment is providing, visa-free access to Chinese travelers, but not us, So these are some of the things. So it's about how do we...
Why not?
That's the question we're all asking. So I think that we need to remove the barriers that enable, that enable the movement of tourists. Importantly, obviously, is data and technology. We're going to have to see how how government contributes to that. And then I'm very passionate about making sure that somehow, communities see tourism, and I think it was Noor who said it, where it is about communities, residents experiencing tourism as improving their lives. And so I think that, that's certainly something that I'm passionate about, and something that I would like to, work with government. I am government, I suppose, so we can all work together to try and achieve that.
Thank you. Régine, your priority is to tell the world that Guam is back for business. I guess that message, a lot of that will have to come from the government. The government will also have to help to restore flight routes, increase more flight routes to Guam. Is there anything else that the government can do? What else should the government do?
So I want to echo a lot of what's been said in terms of data and innovation, and really trying to leverage those to kind of establish those long-term goals, but remain flexible and adaptable, because we just never know what's around the corner for any of us. So I think government has a very strong role to play there. But we also, in terms of the Visitors Bureau, we need to do a better job of communicating, as Wrenelle said, what our value and what our benefits are to all of our stakeholders, which includes, our policymakers and decision makers. It includes the residents of Guam, and it also includes the people who are trying to entice to visit Guam. And actually, if anybody has an opportunity sometime today, check us out, visitguam.com. My team is also here, so we're really excited to be able to share our story and, think about ways that we can do that better, that we can be better digital storytellers, and then when people come to visit us, that they have that outstanding experience. They leave, they become ambassadors of our island, and they tell everybody what an incredible experience they had on the island of Guam. And so I think government has an incredible role to play in that, in the communication efforts and the PR efforts, but also in creating policies that are gonna, lift our island up and provide that infrastructure to be able to grow sustainably and create the kind of future that we want for our residents and for our visitors.
I want to touch on 2 or 3 additional topics or keywords that you have all mentioned. One is diversification, right? Earlier on, I think it was Mr. Liu who mentioned the data point that 80% of international travelers are concentrated in major cities, what they call access cities, and the rest of the, so there's a move to increase, I guess, rural tourism is the word. How do you go about doing that? Especially for countries with big rural communities, South Africa, Korea, Azerbaijan, how do you go about promoting rural tourism?
I'm happy to go.
Yep.
So I guess we currently do it in many ways, although we are focusing on how we can do that better. But the first is that we have developed profiles of each of the regions, and we're basically showcasing each of their unique value propositions, and we're making some of that digitally available. We're working with the businesses in the areas to develop experiences. We work with international trade and media, and we actually take them into those districts to showcase, what's available. And I quite like the idea of actually using AI, which I will definitely take back as well, which we are thinking about but haven't implemented yet, but using AI to almost direct travelers to the kind of path less trodden. Yeah. So that's amongst other things, what we're doing at the moment.
Insook?
So to, for Korea, in order to activate like regional tourism and local tourism, there's one of the projects that we are currently doing is called Tourism Dure. Tourism Dure is a resident-led business model where locals directly design and run the tourism services. So instead of building like large or intrusive resorts, they turn their own homes or kitchens and farms into the unique and to travel experiences. So in Tourism Dure project, the role of government is the enabler. So we provide the necessary training, tools, and some budgets, but the community remains the owner. So I think this kind of movement delivers some tangible benefits in the local communities and directly helping the people living in that community. So I think you can meet those tourism Dure businesses outside when you go to the right far side of the corner. Yeah, there are the stand. They have their stand to promote their services. So maybe once if you have time, you can visit our tourism Dure booth to say hello and see what they're providing.
Sounds fantastic. And I suppose this kind of immersive tourism experience is very different from the type of coach tourism, package tourism, tour groups that we are used to seeing. I guess this is also something that the younger generation is more, has a greater affinity to. What about Azerbaijan? How are you doing this?
I share my passion with the ladies on regional development. This is where the real identities of destination is hidden in many cases. Few layers. First layer, domestic tourism. After 2020 crisis, we started on Macera Yakhandade, which means the adventure is near, to activate mainly locals to explore the beautiful places in the countryside. And I think this is a major thing, because very few people know their own country very well. They know hidden places, hidden gems, heritage sites, unique individuals who have these amazing skills of producing, or processing something. The second layer is the close-by markets. The closer you are in the region, the better your neighbors know who you are, what you have to offer. So the regional markets are very essential for activation of regional tourism and dispersing basically the hubs of the capital of Baku. And the third layer is what we have started in 2018 is we believe in global cooperation. Again, let me give you two examples. One is there is a few villages in the northwest and in the south with outstanding natural resources in terms of produce and agricultural produce, unique elements. We've partnered with Italy-based NGO Slow Food, and we have created slow food travel destinations in the northwest and in the south. So through slow food, we are able to communicate to a global foodie community in New York, in hubs around the world, that there is Azerbaijan with a unique culinary gastro experiences. This is one. Another example is in the north of the country, we have an amazing mountain winter ski resort. We have signed a 5-year partnership agreement with FIS, the Global Ski and Snowboard Federation, and we are bringing the expertise of FIS into that ski resort to develop new athletes, to support youngsters in skiing, mountaineering, and also to bring international World Cup events to that region. And these are just like a few examples.
That's fantastic, because local experiences are the most authentic, because you do away with the filters of the tried and tested. And I believe it was also Mr. Liu who said that diplomacy, traveling is diplomacy by the ordinary people. So if you take this to the local communities, you have a more authentic form of diplomacy. You also all mentioned AI, and this is one topic that I want to briefly touch upon. So we all know how technology has been used to enhance and promote and market, and data has been used to help us make more informed decisions about managing tourism. How is AI being used, and how is AI being more useful? Early on, we heard David Mann gave us the data how AI is being used as a tool, has led to some really very strong, very positive results. So how are you using AI in your markets?
Thank you. So as part of visitguam.com, the Guam Visitors Bureau website, we are leveraging AI, but also ensuring that we are pushing out the correct, most up-to-date information from all of our members. And then we have opportunities on AI. You know, folks can come on our website and, you know, if they think about food is the most important thing for their journey. I'm going to Guam, give me a 3-day itinerary that encompasses, you know, all of the best cuisines available on Guam. And then it'll go through our membership listing. They'll have all of the most up-to-date information about hours of operation, how to get more information about what's out there for the different restaurants. And so that's one of the ways that GVB is trying to leverage AI and try to also give the best information possible to our consumers and to the local residents as well.
I don't have necessarily a positive story to report yet, but we have embarked on a multi-year digital transformation strategy across the agency. And so I suppose the first big thing has been to modernize our systems, to digitize the value proposition. So there's quite a lot of work going into trying to get people to be able to use the websites, so self-use basically. So there's quite a bit of work going on getting the culture right. We've got an AI framework. The staff are all using AI, but we're not using it as a marketing tool just yet. And I think that is probably what will come next. But what we are doing is we are feeding a lot of information you know, into our database.
Travelers' behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, as for Korea, as you all well know, Korea is a very high-tech country, so AI is definitely one of the big keywords for every project, like for business and for government. So like for us too, like the government asks us develop some AI-related tourism projects and such like that. So it's a very big issue, of course, in Korea too. But as a person in the working for the tourism industry, what I worry is about the content. The technology is no problem for us, but the content is problem for us. It's not that we don't have the content, but we need to have at least English version of the contents, but to speak frankly, not many English translated contents are out in the website. Yeah, because as you know, we have our own languages. So as I prepare for the AI era, I think what Korean tourism industry have to work on is to create at least English contents continuously to promote their service and what their unique points are. Otherwise, I don't think the AI, the machines don't get the Korean information, not enough Korean information. So these are the things that we are communicating with our industry partners to, if you don't have the English website, please create now and open the open blog, you know, not the closed blogs, but you know, the open blogs, and put up the many pictures and many, you know, the testimonies of the using your tourism contents, etc. So that's one of the things I would like to share about current situation. Yeah.
Surely there would be a problem that a large language model can solve very easily. Write your content in different persona. Like a young person or an older person, a hip person.
You touch an important, I think you touch an important pain point for all of us, but I agree with you. For example, that topic on language assistant, we've been resolving recently with our brand refresh and also feeding the agents with new tone of voice of the brand, for example, so that all the marketing relevant communication topics is already outputted in a one-to-one brand language. But that's just one element. I think important is overall what we all understand, overall digital transformation. This is what is top priority of the government of Azerbaijan. It's not only about AI, right? It's about digitalization in the big picture, mobile networks, Wi-Fi access, also eligibility of like people having this IT knowledge in the country, so not only in big cities. And the least challenge is to integrate AI, at least on the tools currently available on the market, in our own activities as a tourism board. But it's more of a coordinated, broader push throughout all sectors on digital transformation, and this is what we're currently doing. There is a digital development agency in Azerbaijan. They are spearheading this program across all authorities. It's a huge effort, huge workload, dramatic change in processes, in structural setup, also impacting on our agencies. But this is who, also it has to be them who are competence center leading that transformation, right? All we can do is using Claude, or ChatGPT or other models and integrating them in a kind of like new marketing tools and communication tools, but the challenge, I guess, is bigger.
Thank you. Well, the final point I want to touch on is about a few of the data points that David Mann shared earlier on. He shared the outbound travel trends of Indian travelers, Chinese travelers, and Singapore. For India, I think it was all concentrated around Asia. So good news for Guam, good news for South Korea, not so good for South Africa and Azerbaijan. Well, potential. You're an optimist. Upside. So same thing with Chinese. Well, the Chinese ventured as far as Australia and New Zealand. For Singapore, also mostly Asia, Singapore and New Zealand as well. So especially with the geopolitics and the war going on in the Middle East, trans-regional international travel, long-haul travel is going to be challenged. So specifically for you, what are you going to do to try and attract Indian travelers and Chinese travelers, apart from increasing direct routes, of course?
I think what happens in the Middle East doesn't stay in the Middle East. It ripples across all markets. I think everyone in the room here is somehow impacted. We heard a lot of these jet fuel, closed flight corridors, etc. Azerbaijan is, when you look at the map, a stable and safe flight corridor connecting the east and the west over the past years, and also in itself a destination full of unique experiences. When we look at China development specifically, we have great numbers. We have visa-free regime implemented also since last year, which is now bilateral and shows great impact. We're also opening our office there in 2 weeks in Beijing to have a better outreach to our partners. We feel that in China that is an important element of being close on site. I know the trend have been in the past many years for DMOs closing all their offices. We're a bit counter-trending in opening a few, but we believe that also this in-person contact and network is relevant. And to India, we had a bit of a challenging first quarter. I referred to David's graph compared 26 over last year, but we see that also this has to do with closed flight corridors for specific Indian carriers in Pakistan and both Iran. So we are positive with new flight routes opening in June, also connecting Baku to Ahmedabad. So that will give a new push also to the northern parts. And Azerbaijan remains a preferred destination for Indian travelers, and we are positive that by the end of the year also we will create a more diverse portfolio for the Indian travelers towards the region, because they have become over the last years one of these target audiences I've mentioned before, who have been going out of the capital into the region and really immersing in new experiences. That is very important.
Régine?
Yes, so India is a very important market for us. It's a market where we're hoping it's a strategic scale market. And right now, we've actually got a digital marketing activation happening across 3 cities in India. We basically focus on adventure, culture. There's a very strong link between India and South Africa, with Gandhi having been in South Africa, etc. So we've been leveraging that. There's a real love for cricket, you know, with both countries. We've also had a team. In fact, Julia, who's sitting in the audience, she went to the SA20 activation in India. We have also been working with what we call system scale partners in India. One of those has been Reliance, where we've actually done food and beverage activations, but we've also leveraged the tourism aspect. We are also going to be partnering with the Indian High Commission and the Indian Consulate. This year they're in Cape Town for 30 years, so we're going to be doing quite a few activations, including a film mission from India. So there's a lot of work happening in India, and we're hoping to inspire Indian travelers to come to the Western Cape. We've also signed a partnership with Emirates Airlines, and part of that is to work on activating that market.
Thank you, Régine. Well, we've been given a very big and difficult topic. We tried to tackle it. We barely scratched the surface. I'm sure in the hours to come, in the day to come, the audience will continue to tap your expertise for more insights. But first, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our panel of speakers. Thank you. 감사합니다.